welcome to well, first of all, it's great to see you guys again. It's interesting. It's almost like normally the reversal. When you guys meet somebody nowadays, it's almost like you meet them on camera, then later you meet them in person, and we had the reversal. So it's odd to see you guys on camera. But first of all, my first question for you guys is just and anybody can chime in on this, but I'm gonna one thing I'll tell you is I like to call on people a little bit, so you guys are more than welcome to pass the buck and send it to somebody else if you want to. But I just want to ask you guys individually some things, and then ask you guys as a team as well. First thing I want to ask as a team is, how does it feel to be crowned the champions of SiGMA of the Cup, and how do you guys feel about that?
So I'll hop on this one. This is we've had a string of opportunities, and this is definitely our biggest opportunity for our team. And then to actually win the event, I think we can see it on stage. We literally just jump at each other. We're just so excited. So for the team and for individuals, this is probably our biggest win to date. So it was a huge achievement for us. And the fact that it was in Malta was even better. So
yeah, not a bad place to win, right?
Perfect.
Yeah, so talk more about that, because we were actually going to get into that a little bit. First of all, did you have fun in Malta in general? What do you think of the place?
Oh yeah, it's like a millionaire's paradise. I don't know. It's just absolutely, it's something out of the world. It's something that you didn't think actually existed, and then you're there, and it's just unbelievable. Everyone's just beautiful, and everything's just beautiful. It's just unbelievable. But we walked into the convention, and our eyes are just opening wide. It's what's going on? But yeah, Malta is absolutely, it was just superb being there for how long we were. We got to see, we had a day off on the Wednesday, so we got to take a walk around the capital of Valletta. And we went, I think we walked for 6 hours? So it was quite a big walk. So kind of seen a lot of the city and then we got up to this peak at the very end at the gardens in Valletta. So it overviewed all the city, which was fantastic to see. But yeah, the tournament being in Malta was just a bonus for us.
Awesome. So it's fair to say we could get you guys back for another one, huh?
Oh yeah, for sure. Let's just say we didn't expect it to be as big as it was. Honestly, when we got there, we were all surprised with how big it turned out to be.
Yeah, it's really a sight that you really can't explain. I mean, it's obviously it's a huge event, and then the tournament was I thought really well put together. You guys did an amazing job as well. I mean, all the teams that showed up were very competitive. So one thing I want to kind of start with as well is I was talking to Tom on day one and at the end of the day, and he was mentioning that the aim of it, aim of where you guys were at that time was just to reach the knockouts. And I want to just ask you, were you guys expecting to win this whole thing? Or I mean, I know that's kind of a silly question because everybody wants to win, but at the end of day one, it was like, hey, we reached our goal. We got to the next round. But what were your expectations kind of coming into this tournament? Give me a little bit of insight there.
I'll answer this question if you don't mind, Tom. We always knew we were going to win the tournament. We came into this thinking we are going to win this. This is our time to win the tournament. That was what we were thinking going in. But we didn't let that distract us from just getting it past day one. We have to get past day one to get to day two to win the whole thing. So it was more of we're going to win this tournament, but focus up first. Let's get past day one.
Yeah, that sounds like a great approach. I think it's you got to take each match and each day one at a time, right? I mean, you can. It's easy to get distracted by the end goal sometimes. If you put yourself in that in that level already. So I think that's a really good approach for sure. So how often do you guys kind of compete together? I think you guys have quite a few stand-ins and quite a few people kind of come in to fill in. Is that? I mean, tell me, is that correct, or tell me a little bit about that?
Yeah. So I'll talk about that. So we had a previous event at England the week before Malta, which we played with Timo, and we played for Timo for maybe about 2 months.
2 months, yeah.
Yeah. But after the event, his performance just wasn't up to scrap, and you could see he was struggling, and there's not much more we could do. So after the England event, we replaced him. But due to passports and travel issues, we asked him to come to Malta for one last hurrah. So he kind of got really lucky. So it was kind of sick. He said, "Well, we were really
thank
happy
God he said
yes."
Well.
Yeah, thank God he said yes. But yeah, so we were playing with Temu, but he was kind of still implemented in the team. He was only out of the team for a week, maybe even less. So he was still very much in the team. And then due to another person having passport issues, we had to just recall. I messaged nearly everyone in the UK scene, and we needed someone, and I just went down the list, just keep messaging people, and eventually we found Ping, or Savior. So he came.
Thank God we did, man. What a man! Look at him, he's handsome.
Yeah. As I say, if you guys need a stand-in player, I will never be good enough for that. But I do want to ask you on that note, what are some of the most important traits or characteristics you guys look for bringing in somebody new to either fill in or actually be on the team? What are give me the 3 most important things you guys look for?
Experience, I'm sure, is like the top one. Yeah. Just
communication.
Yeah.
And a really good team player, someone that you can like actually work with. You don't want like someone that's just individually doing their own thing. You want someone that you can rely on to help you.
That's awesome. So what kind of process do you guys go through? I mean, I know you were scrambling, like you mentioned, to get somebody for this event and get a team together for this event due to passport issues and all that. But let's say in a perfect world, no passport issues, you guys are playing on your home ground. What is the interview slash, what's the word, I guess, interview slash, induction process look like for a new player? Like, what do you guys do for a new player to come into the team?
Yeah, so when we get a new player in, like obviously they're to replace another player, and those players aren't going to be the exact same person. Do you know what I mean? They're not going to play the exact same. They're going to have different play styles. They're going to have a different mindset. So like as leader of the team or AGL, I might put the player in like the easier positions, so I can kind of get a read on like, okay, he's really good at this. He's really good at the start of the round. He's really good at the mid round. He's really good at closing out the round. Things like that there. So at the start of the team, I'll put him in the more easier spots, so I can see his development as a player. And then through the weeks go on, then I'll try and like implement, okay, so he probably would be a bit more stronger in this position or stronger here. But like Seb said, like it only works if we have team players, someone that wants the team to win, and like maybe they might have to sacrifice their stats or their statistics a little bit. But the big one is just being a team player.
Awesome. Thank you for that. I mean, that's something that I think every team, has to have a system place or like some form of, induction to get people caught up. Who would you say is your guys' closer? Like, who's the person that closes out the games and is consistently like, the closer, so to speak? Is there anybody?
Yeah, Bolt or Seb. Like, he's just unbelievable. Like, I don't know where we found this guy or like who he is or why he's even here, why he's playing, but like,
I guess I'll go, guys.
It's the clutch king, man.
Yeah, he's like probably easily like the best player in the UK. Like,
well, he is the one that
when Seb is in the clutch and it's 1v3. It's like, no worries, he's got this. We've seen it so much. It's like, yeah, no worries, Seb's winning the round.
You guys can sit back and figure out how to make your backgrounds work. He's already got it all handled.
That is true.
Exactly.
Fantastic. Well, that's awesome. That's good. Who do you think is like the strongest opener, on the team? Like, who gets aggressive? Who gets in there and gets their hands dirty right away?
Yeah, so that'd be Extinct. Yeah.
The front man, Extinct, yeah.
Running in first, Mr. Ferrari.
We call him F1 race car. Yeah. He's just so fast, always up there.
That's awesome. So, on that note, we talked about closers, we talked about people that get aggressive and make things happen for the team. Who do you think takes the MVP for the tournament, for the SiGMA tournament?
Oh, that's a hard one.
I would say Seb. Definitely Seb.
I agree. Yeah.
I mean, I was
it's a very hard question actually, because there were moments where everyone on the team really shone. But I guess Seb shone more brightly and more often. So maybe Seb for me.
I would say a shout out to Ping, because on Inferno in the last game, it was a 1v3 that I think it was Saw Youngsters just completely crumbled, and Ping just captured the moment and just won us the game. So like, props to Ping as well. So.
Definitely round winning.
Yeah, I mean,
the tournament.
Yeah.
If Javier's not MVP for that alone, then it's honorary mentions right up at the fucking top of the list. Excuse my language.
That's all right. No worries. We can always bleep it out. We'll just No, that's awesome. So it looks like we know where the trophy's going to be stored at, right? It's either at Seb's place or Ping, right? So we. Go ahead. Oh, go ahead. My bad. I didn't mean to cut you off, Tom.
You were saying before, like always, like get past the first game, get past the next game before you look at the finals. I remember when he took out the trophy, and we all looked at it. It was like Mattis's eyes just like opened up, was like, I want that trophy. And like during the finals, like if Mattis needed motivation, like just to get like a bit more hype or whatever, he would just look at the trophy, just to continue just going, right, I have to play
I'd be
so
looking
much
at my
better.
monitor, and then if I lose a round or make a mistake, I look at that trophy for motivation.
Awesome. That's awesome. Well, there's a reason it got put right in front of you guys, right? Right up,
Oh yeah.
right in front of the big screen, right? Just so you guys can see it. Yeah. Awesome. So we were talking a little bit about, the team's MVPs, and you mentioned Saw Youngsters a second ago. What other team do you really feel was the most competitive? I mean, obviously we know who played with you guys in the final, but who really surprised you guys during the tournament where you're like, whoa, okay, these guys actually know what the hell they're doing. They're pretty good.
I think the biggest surprise was FTW.
Yeah.
The other Portuguese team. Those guys are really, like, we really underestimated those guys. Like they did have kind of, I'm not entirely sure what was going on with the roster because they were playing with a guy called Rocky, and I'm not sure what was going on like in that in terms of him, but like the rest of the roster was absolutely just. We were speaking about it the day before. It was like, okay, we were going to get FTW. This has worked out pretty well. We should get into the finals. It'll be okay. Then we started playing out versus FTW, and I think the first map was on Nuke, and these guys just blew us away. Was like, what's
Caught
going
us off
on?
guard.
Yeah.
Yeah,
so
they
like,
really pushed us to put it up a couple of gears and actually beat them. They didn't come to lie down, and they played really, really good.
but like, I think it kind of it helped us as well because you want to be pushed before going into a final. You don't want the last game of the tournament to be pushed because you like, especially playing with stand-ins, you might not be ready for it. So it's good that like we even lost the game before that happened as well. And then we got pushed in this FTW game. So like we're kind of mentally prepared for it. We're kind of ready for it. So like we just kind of had to rely on all that experience that we got in the last few days and just bring it to the final, which was good.
Yeah, I mean, we see that a lot with a lot of teams where they skate through all the the entry rounds and even into the prelims or whatnot, and all the way through even to the the later rounds. But if they skate by, a lot of these teams they do crumble at the end because, like you said, they haven't really battled through anything. They haven't really had any sort of attrition, getting there. So, like you said, I totally agree. I think it's nice to see you get challenged. It wakes you up. It gets you a little bit more communicative. Gets the team into a better strategy too, right?
For sure.
Yeah. So talk about, the event as far as, obviously it's not like a normal tournament. It's not like a normal event. It was a little bit different with the crowd and just with people coming in and out. Did that affect the strategy at all about like how you guys actually regrouped after a match or how you guys, communicated and strategized? Was there any effect based on the tournament style? Nope.
I wouldn't say like we like effect. I think we played better as a result of how the tournament was. Like as Tom said before, we had another LAN like a week before that, and they kind of like helped us prepare for this one, I guess, without us knowing. We had loads of people cheering for us there, so like when we came to this one and we saw those people there as well, it felt the same, and we really enjoyed that.
Yeah.
But like there wasn't like any added pressure because of how it was laid out. I think it was all pretty nice.
Awesome.
I mean, I will say this, like, you see, like, as, like, the IGL, like, kind of, like, after strat call and type of things, like, because the, like, girls in Malta are so beautiful, like, we're just, like, we're, like, just stunned, like, so even though if we're playing, we're just, like, looking over their PCs, like, so there was that, it was just a small distraction, but, yeah.
A little distraction.
Yeah. Well, I think we know where Tom's going to move to here pretty soon.
He keeps talking about it.
Yeah.
He'll be here for all the next tournaments, obviously, very easily. Very good. All right. So talking a little bit about they're changing gears. Obviously, we talked a little bit about like your team and just the strategy at the tournament, and obviously amazing win. Seriously, it was such an exciting moment to be there and watch you guys do it. It was so cool watching you from day one come in, and it's electric. It just, you want to go back and do it again. You know what I mean? But talking about the future a little bit. Do you guys feel there's something missing from the esports landscape that, in general, that you guys, want to see introduced, or something you think needs to change for the better to make esports, more, acceptable by people that maybe aren't into esports as much, or maybe not even into CSGO as much? You guys want to talk about what do you see the future changes being in the esports industry, if anything?
For the UK scene, like the infrastructure is just quite poor. There's not many organizations anymore that's actually flooding money in. And if there's no money going into the scene, then it's actually quite hard for these players, especially at the cost of living in the UK. It's quite hard for these players to continue playing. because simply they just have no money. So in terms of the UK scene, like there isn't a lot of money anymore, and it's quite hard to stay playing CS full time to compete against the other European teams who are full time and do have a lot of support behind them. So it's quite hard there. In terms of like European CS or like the overall picture, maybe like I think ESL or like making path to Pro League, I think it's a bit easier now. Some changes there in the future might be a bit easier, so like teams can move on forward like faster. And then maybe a few more leagues maybe pop up every now and then, so like FACEIT could host another league or whatever. But for the UK players, it's kind of, there's not a lot of money, there's not a lot of structure in the UK scene, which is going to hold UK teams back.
Yeah.
I feel like esports has grown everywhere else, but like in the UK, it's kind of been it's better obviously. Like the pandemic has helped, but like it's not at the same level as like other European countries for sure.
Yeah, and that obviously that's there's an advantage, right? When you got like you said, players and teams going full time at it, and you've got other areas that don't, whatever you want to call it, regions or teams that can't be on the same level for the training regimen and the coaching regimen and everything else, and obviously that's a huge deal. And really, frankly, at Esports Technologies, that's what we're after. We're out there to grow the sport. We're out there to bring more awareness to it. To be honest, I see a lot more tournament styles being kind of similar to what you guys saw, where there's going to be a lot more interaction, not just at an esports event, but in multiple different events and multiple different sectors. You can see esports becoming a bigger focus. So I think that's going to too. But I totally agree. I think in the UK, it's especially for certain games, you're seeing a little bit of a difference. Speaking of that, I did want to ask you about a different game entirely with Valorant. It seems like Valorant's kind of one of the faster growing games. Some similarities, you could argue a lot of similarities, CSGO. Could you guys see yourselves maybe as a team, maybe whether it be with other players, athletes, or even just with you guys? Do you guys see yourself getting into that at all with Valorant?
Not a chance. The game
it's so bad.
That is why these days you see like
same.
professional players that moved over to Valorant, they're coming back now. Like
yeah. For example, Floppy, he just recently came back, made a statement that CS is just way better. It's just not the same.
Well, I'm glad I'm scratching that question off my next one. With CS:GO guys. Okay, got it. What's so you said I think Sebastian, you mentioned it's CS is better. What makes it better than Valorant? I'm just curious. I just want to hear from your perspective.
Like the mechanics of the game. First of all, how the game looks. Like Valorant doesn't look nice. It looks like a kid's game. Like other people say.
Cartoonish game.
It's too cartoonish. With CS, it's not like exactly real, obviously, but like it's more real. It appeals to me more, at least. Valorant, like how the guns work in Valorant is really different as well. The fact that you have like over 10 different characters with like 50 abilities, it just makes it really chaotic. And like I think the skill ceiling is a bit lower because of that, or like the skill floor. It's like easier for worse players to play better, if like you could have like insane aim and still get destroyed by someone because they can shoot you through a wall, or like they have this random ability that you can't escape. So I think that's the main thing with Valorant.
Yeah, it makes sense, and I think obviously the skill side's a huge factor, but also I think that when you're playing a game like CS, I feel like it's a much better game for a team, for strategy, communication, everything. It just seems like it meshes a lot better with CS than with Valorant from my perspective. I don't know if you guys agree. Obviously, from a strategy perspective. Guess not. I guess nobody agrees with me.
I'm just thinking about it.
Not to take away from the Valorant players, like there is strategy and there's still it is very complex. Like if you got really into the game. Personally, like for CS players, I think they're always going to say it's a lot more complex. But like there is the strategy side of Valorant. I just don't know what it is because I don't play the game.
Awesome. Well, I'm glad. Like I said, I'm glad I opened up that can of worms. I will make sure to move that for the next one. So as far as with Coalesce, it's obviously clear to see you guys are really, in my opinion, even with the stand and all the other stuff going on, you guys seem like a really tight knit group. Really passionate. And that comes through with your guys as athletes and players. tell me about how your fans are reciprocating that. Do you feel like you have passionate fans that really follow your guys' performance, or interact on social media? Talk about your fans a little bit.
Yeah, so like we have got a few individuals that like follow the Coalesce brand. And then we have every other UK team who wants to tarnish it. So, like, at the previous event, like we had every single one of our like someone in some sector of our organization there, and they were screaming versus like every round. I mean, so loud. So, like, if you can think it from the other team's perspective, every single round they're losing, they're hearing about 25 people just scream their hearts out. So like it's a bit intimidating. So like I can see why like some other teams in the UK like might be like annoyed by that because like they've not seen it before. But I think like it just shows what Coalesce are doing. Like they're there. Do you mean you always know that they're there? Just because they're so loud and like how they approach people, and like it's absolutely wonderful since we've joined them. Like it's crazy.
Yeah. Well, the loudest fans are often the best fans, in my opinion. I don't know about you guys, but I'd rather Dalton on the side and or in front of the stage, for me than somebody being all quiet, So I'd much rather see that. Speaking of which, how do you guys get your guys' merch out to your fans? You guys have obviously some really cool jerseys, some really cool merch. I mean, how do you get it out to your fans?
Yeah, so if you just visit the Coalesce website, it's linked on the Twitter. You can purchase it all. So, and it's good with quality, like because some of the esports stuff, it isn't like sometimes the quality isn't too great to lower the cost of production and stuff. But the Coalesce jersey is like absolutely like really like it's definitely the nicest jersey like I've actually had because like the way they make it or whatever it is like. But yeah, so it's all in the Coalesce store. Yeah.
Awesome. Yeah, I got to be honest. I was eyeballing a jersey. I might have to ping you guys after this one and get set up here. I just need the 10% Black Friday discount code. Send that over. Awesome. Well, last couple of questions to kind of wrap it up is, it's kind of a basic one, but it really means a lot to I think the audience is listening in because it affected everybody. With the pandemic, obviously that took a big toll on a lot of teams as far as their practice schedule and just their social life and everything. How did that affect Coalesce as a team with the pandemic?
Yeah, so actually, it's probably only positives because of the pandemic.
No negatives. I think everyone had so much free time. There's nothing like obviously everyone was at home, didn't have to go to college, didn't have to go to university. Everything was done online, and also people didn't have to work. We were getting paid to sit at home if people were on the COVID payment. So it was nice. Like, got to save up a good bit of money while playing CS full time, and we were literally playing every single day nonstop, practicing as much as possible, and it definitely like improved everyone's skill level like tenfold because everyone was just nonstop CS, playing CS all the time, improving everything. We were winning some events, so we were starting to win like our small events and like building up and starting to beat better teams, which was like it just showed good progression over the time, and it definitely improved. So it was only me, Artist, Giraffe from that core at that time because Seb and Ping were only added recently. But during that period, it definitely improved myself and Artists and Giraffe's like performance and like game knowledge, and it definitely built up the strength in the core of the team, and it definitely improved every aspect of the team. So it was a lot of free time. It was really good to have some free time to just completely focus on CS.
Awesome.
And yeah, it's pretty much it.
That's awesome. Well, I mean, obviously it's in a lot of ways it was a tough time, but like you said, from the perspective of getting the team to practice and getting the players to get better, I mean, obviously that makes a lot of sense. I mean, if you're at home more and you're on your computer more and you're gaming, you're gonna get better. So it makes a lot of sense. I could see how that impacted everybody in that regard, actually. So what's on the future landscape or on the future docket for tournament schedule, and like what's the next event are you guys looking at?
So next week we got invited by Relog Media to Malta Vibes. So we're not flying back to Malta, but it's called Malta Vibes. I think
we already have the vibes, man.
I think if you win the tournament, you do get a boot camp in Malta. Yeah. So I think that you do go back to Malta.
Hopefully next year.
Yeah. But I think that's it for now. Like we said, it's like after this tournament, we played with Ping, and we just kind of realized like we need to pick this guy up. So we'll play this tournament next week, and then it's just kind of a lot of the server stuff, a lot of drilling out, getting all the strats sorted out, and then take a break over Christmas, and then next year start back at it again.
Awesome. So I mean, yeah, I know why you signed up for that tournament, right? It said Malta, and you're just like, sign me up immediately, right?
Anything Malta related.
I don't even care who I'm playing against.
Get us back there.
So here's a
Malta
question.
babes.
Here's a fun question. If we invited you guys out to play a fun Valorant tournament in Malta, would you guys show up for that?
Maybe.
If there's a game of chess in Malta, one single game that would last 10 seconds, I'd be out in Malta.
Fantastic. Awesome. Okay, well, the last question I have, and then I'll open it up to anything you guys want to add here, is what do you think is going to be the biggest focus for the team in the next year in 2022? I mean, it seems like this year just blew by. Here we are, coming up on the next year. What do you think is the big focus for 2022?
So I think the biggest one would be get like into the HLTV rankings like deep. So like kind of you're pushing top 50 and even further than that. Kind of this year there was a few roster changes that we had to go through, so there wasn't too much stability throughout the year. Towards the end of the year when we picked up Seb, we kind of found a 4, but we couldn't really get that 5th yet. But now playing an event with Ping, like we've kind of realized like this is it. This is like we've all kind of looked at the roster and just thought this is the next step that we need to kind of push us forward. So I think within 2022 would be just to push top 50 and just go top 30 and then become the best team in the world versus Gambit.
So safe to say, you guys, the trophy collection is going to get bigger, huh?
Yeah, that's the goal.
Yeah, sure. Coalesce better get the headquarters ready because we need somewhere to store them.
Hey guys, if you guys need anybody to help out with that trophy, here we go. Awesome. Well, it's a pleasure. It's a pleasure speaking with you guys again. And really an honor. And just keep up the great work. You guys are an amazing guys, amazing athletes, amazing team. Just feel free to add anything to the end of this interview, and I'll let you guys have the floor for a minute. So go ahead.
Yeah, big shout out to SiGMA for allowing the esports tech to run the event. It was absolutely wonderful. Even like besides the esports part of it, like just we were walking around the event, like it's absolutely class. Just the environment there was perfect to have an esports tournament within that event. I think it's a good like mix where you can really like network between the two. So like the SiGMA tournament, they're like for SiGMA to host the tournament, it was actually wonderful. And then big shout out for the esports tech guys as well. Like everyone there was so friendly, absolutely wonderful to be around. Very welcoming, and like it just felt like there was not a single problem, the entire event that you could say. And like they're not paying me to say this, but like it was absolutely class. Like anything we needed.
The stage was amazing. Everything. The whole like setup was really good as well.
Yeah. Winning the finals felt like winning the finals, actually.
Oh yeah, definitely.
It was
champagne,
one of the best
everything.
things.
Excellent.
That's awesome. Well, Ping, what do you think, man? You were quiet last minute. Tell us, make me feel good about Esports Technologies. Come on.
I don't know. It was an amazing event to play. I couldn't have done there's nothing you could have done better. And the champagne at the end was a really nice touch, even though I got soaked and I went back to the hotel room really sticky. It's fine. It was really enjoyable.
Well, if you leave a tournament, and you got some champagne on you, that's a good thing, right? Especially
Definitely.
I think half the people on Malta streets are covered in champagne anyway, so you fit right in. Just kidding. But yeah, awesome to be with you guys, and I think we're gonna wrap it up now. So, but thanks again, pleasure, and congratulations. We hope to see you at the next one. Hope you guys take it, and keep stacking those trophies, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Cheers.
All right. Thank you.